So let's start with the basics.
Yeah.
What is real estate wholesaling?
Well, all of that you can boil down to just have conversations with property owners that have ugly houses. Just start with having you have to have a conversation with a property owner that this property needs significant investment. From there, it's just making the offer. This is the sticking point for a lot of people that are getting started, that are interested in being real estate entrepreneurs. Is, well, I don't know what to offer. I don't know if this is a deal or not a deal. I don't know what's going on here, right? So it's just really important that you combine having conversations and making offers with squatting up with people that do this business. All right.
Okay.
And we'll go all into that. But wholesaling basically is this. There's a person that has a personal problem with a property. Right.
Okay.
There's a lot of P's right there, but it is, they have a personal problem with a property and they want to sell it and they want speed and convenience. Price really isn't the biggest factor in their decision making. They want to get it sold and they want to get it sold fast. Okay.
What would cause somebody to get that motivated where they're not on price? Because if you went to any normal homeowner, they're not going to sell at a big discount. They're going to get an agent. They're going to list it. They're going to make repairs. They're going to wait whatever time necessary to get the best offer they could. Yeah. What would cause somebody to take a discount? So
there has to be some sort of problem. There has to be some sort of distress. A lot of people that inherit properties, that it was their parents' property and they just don't have the finances to be able to fix up this property. Plus, most families, 80% liquidate all of the assets, split it with the family so that there's not any infighting and everybody gets their piece type of thing. So you've got inherited properties. You've got people that are in financial distress. They can't keep up with the property anymore because they don't have the income to do it or they just don't want to do it. They just let the properties kind of go.
The average American saves less than $1,000 a year.
And it costs $5,000 a year to own a house just for upkeep.
Yes.
I mean, Google it.
Yeah.
Google
so they get
average upkeep for a single family property in the United States. It's anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 depending on where you're at in the country.
So if they lose their job or they fall behind on their finances.
Even if they have a job, they can't constantly be upgrading everything. You see it all the time. Yeah. You walk into houses, there's wires going crazy. You've got smoke detectors that don't have batteries in them. You've got, some flooding that never got fixed. So there's a little bit of damage.
Little mold damage.
There's just wear and tear on properties. People really don't understand. Like a house is like a living organism. You have to feed this thing. You have to take care of it. You have to make sure that it stays functional, right?
And if, like, let's say here in Arizona, it's critical to have air conditioning.
Absolutely.
It's critical to, like, you have to have a stove. Mm-hmm. A lender will not lend on a property if functionally certain things are broken or missing.
Sure.
Right? So a conventional buyer can't even buy it if they wanted to because they can't get a loan because the roof has a major issue or there's no AC unit working or it's missing the stove and that's broken. There are a lot of things that would prevent a normal buyer from buying it.
Yeah. I mean, really, there's 3 buckets of distress with property owners. It is the condition. The condition of the property is a distress. They just can't keep up with it. There's financial distress because of the ebb and flow of how much income they're making. And then there's emotional distress. People go through really tough times. People have some bad situations that happen in properties that they don't want to deal with anymore. So they want to get rid of that emotion that they run into every single time.
A divorce
they go to
or something.
A divorce.
They don't want to have those memories.
Somebody passed away in the property. There was a big major fight that happened between father and son in the front yard. Who knows? There's millions of different reasons, and we've done business with all of these different situations. But basically, as a investor, our job is to buy discounted properties. Okay. Right? We make money. A property that is bought right is already half sold. Right? And so
say that again. Wait, explain what you mean by that.
A property that is bought right is already half sold because you're getting equity walking in. You have a property that somebody could clean up a little bit and it's worth $150,000 that you get for $80,000. You know what I mean? That's just finding really good opportunities. And so that's our job. All wholesaling is the art of finding discounted properties. That's it.
For everybody listening that has never heard of a subject to, break it down real quick.
So people basically don't understand sub 2 because when I say I'm going to take over somebody's payments, right? They don't understand it in housing terms because they don't understand mortgage and deed are 2 completely different things. And a lot of people don't even know what a mortgage and a deed are, definitely don't know what a deed is. So here's how I break it down. Let's say you go buy a brand new car off a car dealership, right? You bought it for $30,000. You drive it off the dealership. What's it worth? 25, 24. Okay, great. Well, you can't sell that car unless you cut a check to get rid of it because you just bought it at full retail. But I could go to that car owner and go, hey, I'll just take over your payments. I just take over your car payments. That's buying a car subject to. So I don't go to their bank. I don't qualify. I don't go get a loan. I just go, let me take your payments. And when the payments are all paid off, the title comes to me, right? People understand that concept. But when it comes to housing, it's like, okay, well, there's a mortgage and then there's a deed. How do you take ownership of a property if their name is on the mortgage? It's like, well, the ownership of a property is not based on the mortgage. The ownership of a property is based on whose name is on the deed. So all I'm doing is taking the deed, transferring it into my name, and the mortgage stays in your name. It's pretty simple. So people still kind of don't understand that. And I go, okay, well, Jamile, do you ever buy groceries with a credit card? Okay, so you go to Albertsons or Bash's or Walmart or wherever you shop, and you
make me shop at better places, please.
Where do you want to shop?
Whole Foods,
Whole
baby.
Foods, okay.
Whole Foods. He's a very
Whole Foods, Trader Joe's.
Trader Joey's. Okay, so you go
we
to
can tell you shop there often.
Yeah. So you go to Whole
Trader
Foods,
Jose's.
Right? Yes, Trader Jose's.
It's down the road.
So you go to Trader Joe's.
When you walk in, they just go, Mita.
Hey.
¿Qué pasa?
So let's say you go to Whole Foods, you pull out your American Express, and you buy a bag of groceries. Do you own that bag of groceries or does American Express?
I own it.
Well, how is that possible? American Express actually used their money to buy that for you.
But I'm going to eat it before American Express.
Okay, got it. So it's okay for you to buy something with somebody else's money.
Yes.
And it's okay for you to owe an American Express bill, but still consume that product. How do I know if I'm walking outside that grocery store, how do I know that I'm the owner of those groceries?
Because you're holding them. Possession.
Because you have the receipt.
Yep.
Right? So the receipt in a real estate transaction is your deed, right? It's the proof of ownership.
It's a cool way to look at it.
Yeah, that's all
I think
it
it
is.
gives people that light bulb aha moment.
They go, oh my gosh. So,
And when I explain subject to people, they're like, so you're assuming my loan. And I'm like, it's like, no, we're leaving the loan in your name. I'm just gonna make payments.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
It's take over a car payment, take over American Express payment. You can do whatever you want. You don't need to notify anybody. Just make the payment.
So for everybody listening, why would somebody do this?
Oh,
because it's risky. Pays. How do I know you're going to make my payment?
You don't. I tell people all the time, if I get abducted by an alien, we're going to set up the paperwork in a way that even if I'm pulled off this planet, you're taken care of, the house goes back to you, whatever you want, we can structure it. I've structured deals where people go, well, I'm 90 and I've got this mortgage. I don't want the house back. And I go, okay, great. Well, who's your next of kin? Do you have a son? Do you have a daughter that would want this piece of real estate? If I default, I'll set up the paperwork that the deed transfers back to your children and you're taken care of. Everything's good. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's it? I go, yeah, that's it.
What are your thoughts on investing in residential versus commercial?
Perfect. Yeah. So we've had a big shift. Cody and I have had multiple conversations about where the next 5 years has been, because we started this business about 5 years ago, come this November.
Yeah.
And we made a pact as partners that we were not going to change anything. There's no different splits. There's no anything. We're not changing anything. It's 5 years, go. Right. So now.
And they've tried. We've all tried. At some point during the 5 years, we looked at each other and tried. But then we came back to the friendship and the partnership and said, nope, we're going to ride this out. So when is our 5 years?
And I recommend that with any partnership.
December? I think it's up in December.
Set a milestone. And so in our next 5 years, Cody and I are really concentrating on commercial real estate and multifamily and bigger deals, less transactions.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about how that works with $1 million flip on a single family house versus a $300,000 house. Same work, same paperwork,
same time,
same risk, just the payoff is that much better, right?
Larger.
So we're noticing that that's the evolution that needs to happen. So right now we're buying a 432 unit in multifamily in Arcadia right now. We have 5.5 acres of dirt on a hard corner in Chandler that we're basically entitling and going through the subdividing process and putting, gas stations and coffee shops and, hotels on. And we're not actually developing the actual, product. We're just putting it in place for
the tenant that's going to basically be purchasing that subdivided land.
Yeah.
And then, you know, some things we're
entitling
holding,
land.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Something and some things we're holding on to and doing triple net leases and single tenant leases. And we're just, you know, ultimately just building that muscle out to move forward with the multifamily and the larger deals and the commercial opportunities and the 67 acres that we have in Northern Arizona, developing a whole RV storage, 200 storage units, 100 RV pads, and 100 manufactured pads, you know, with a bike trail and all sorts of, you know, little short-term tiny homes, and just a great community that is just.
We're moving up the food chain, boys.
So we're excited.
I love it. And I think the lesson in that is first off, you can go big. You should go big.
Yep.
You have it in you. You're in your own way if you're not thinking big. And it's one of those things where you kind of learn your lessons. It's like we work so hard to buy a $850,000 house, tear it to the ground, put up a brand new 4,000 square foot, $3.5 million spec luxury home to sell it and make $400K. It takes 14, 16 months right now to pull the whole project off. There's residential lenders involved. There's residential real estate agents involved. There's architects, there's designers, there's all these people involved. And at the end of the day, you're lucky if you make 400 grand, right? It's going to float between 200 grand to 500 grand. Somewhere in there should be your profit margin. But imagine that same energy on a 5.5 acre subdivided land entitlement play where instead of making 400 grand, we make 7 million. Same time, same energy. Actually, probably easier to do that. Just different skills, different capabilities, and a different confidence level. Believe in yourself that you can do the bigger deals. And if you don't know how to do that, find a great partner to do that. Go find the raw land, talk with the city, get like the fundamental basics kind of lined up, but you don't really know how to pull it off. Then you go to sendusthedeals.com, you bring it to us, or you bring it to a local investor that you networked with, and you go, hey, I got this opportunity. I'm pretty far along, but I don't know what to do from here. And find a strategic partner that can take it the rest of the way and keep yourself in the deal. Last year, we didn't pay taxes because we own so much real estate. What other vehicle can you be in where you can make tens of millions of dollars, pay no taxes, which is really like making 20s of millions of dollars, because half of your money always goes to Uncle Sam. But in real estate, if you own it and it's the right type of commercial property, multifamily and commercial, like the building we're sitting in, you're able to have all these extra benefits from a tax perspective. And so
wholesaling, you can actually invest your profits into your IRA and have it be, you know, tax deferred, and then use those profits to invest into real estate. And so there's all interesting things that you could do. And so, you know, I highly encourage you to just think bigger. You know, I think Veena Jetti said this one time. She said, look, Veena, should I just start with doing like 10 or 12 units, you know, or should I go for 100 units? She goes, go for 100. And I was like, holy smokes, really? She's like, yeah, same work, same thing,
same amount of time,
less risk, So it goes
way more benefits and tax benefits.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now you're playing the money game to win. What's your power team look like? Because there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of work, management. I don't see you collecting rent checks, putting up 5-day notices,
knocking on doors.
Toilets. So what's your team look like?
I do all of those things, Cody. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're capable of doing them.
Yeah, especially the fixing toilets. I'm really good at that. No, so we have a whole entire team. Like I said in the beginning, I just find people that are way smarter than me, and then I just like ride their coattails to success.
So tell me what my power team needs to look like.
Like I said, first and foremost, your securities attorney. So Nick McGrew out of LA Polymath Legal, he's my guy. Then my second person is my tax strategist. People overlook this when they're investing in multifamily, but you need this because not only is it tax efficient for you, but when you go to raise capital, rich people care a lot about taxes, right? And they're going to start asking you like, okay, so will I get a K-1 or a 1099? How does my depreciation work? Am I going to have to recapture it? And you're going to be like, what? I just said, give me a check. That's all. I want to stop after that sentence, right? But having someone on your team to do that. So we use Larry West. And
shout out, Big Larry.
Yeah, Big Larry.
Big Larry West.
Big Larry West. He's actually Larry D. West the third is his official name.
Larry Big D. West.
Big D. West.
The third.
Wait,
where's he out of? Texas?
Yeah.
He sounds like a Texas guy.
He's out of Dallas.
Okay. Big D from Dallas. All right. Hey, shout out to Larry.
I cannot
killing it out there. The strategy.
No, he is. Because,
He's
because it's not about what you make, it's about what you keep.
100%.
Right? And he helps me keep all of it. So,
my first few years in the business, I was a proud tax-paying. I was behind on my taxes, but I owed the taxes. I eventually paid them with tons of fines and fees.
I love it. But you eventually figured it out. You figured it out.
You need some Venoti in your life to get tax strategy.
I love it. Yeah, no. So he's also important. Then we have our contract attorneys. So that could be the same as your securities attorney, could be someone different. For us, we find attorneys that are local to the markets that we're transacting in for the contract side. Our title company. So we immediately open title and get that rolling. Our lender, big part of our team.
Is this like a local bank, a big bank, a credit union? Is this specialty lender?
Yes, there's like multifamily brokers. And usually if you don't have one, when you're buying from a broker, just ask them who their capital markets team is. They'll be happy to introduce you to whoever they use. We use someone from Jones, Lang & LaSalle. So JLL.
Jones, Lang &
LaSalle.
Jones, Lang &
yes,
LaSalle.
I think they're like the number 2 in terms of size of real estate in the world.
Size matters, Veena.
Size matters.
I've heard. I got to ask Larry. I don't know.
I can't.
I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
I don't know what you're talking about either. When
it comes to portfolios, I'm more of a grower, not a shower. When the video guys recording this start laughing.